Hey guys, you probably think growing tons of food needs a huge yard or fancy, expensive garden beds. You buy new pots, hoping for big yields. But the hidden truth is, the real secret to massive harvests in tiny spaces isn't about spending more. It's about a simple, old method, using things people throw away. This approach isn't just cheaper. It completely breaks everything you thought you knew about getting food from your own land, turning what looks like trash into pure gold. Okay, let's be honest for a second. We've all been there. You go to the store, buy a nice-looking pot. You get that special, expensive soil mix everyone on the internet swears by, and you plant your seeds. And what do you get for all that effort and money? Maybe a few small tomatoes. It's super frustrating, and honestly, it makes you want to just give up. You start to think that growing a lot of your own food is only for people with huge yards and deep pockets. But that's where everyone gets it wrong. Today, we're going to talk about the old wooden crate method. And yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. We're taking those old wooden crates you see people giving away for free and turning them into the most productive garden you've ever had. Forget buying a few pots here and there. We're going to build a simple 4x4 garden that will completely change how you see your small space. This one little patch can seriously pump out a ton of food, all by using things that most people consider junk. So let's get right into why those expensive pots are setting you up for failure. It really comes down to a few simple, but critical, problems. First, think about the soil. A typical pot just doesn't hold enough of it. It's like trying to grow a tree in a coffee mug. The plant runs out of food almost immediately. And if you put more than one plant in there, they start fighting each other for light, water, and whatever nutrients are left. The result is always the same: weak, stunted plants that barely produce anything. The other huge issue is water. Most store-bought pots are terrible at drainage. The soil gets completely waterlogged, and the plant's roots basically drown. That's why you always hear people say you have to drill more holes in your containers. You're having to fix a basic design flaw in a product you paid good money for. This is where a simple 4x4 raised bed completely changes the game. It's not just a bigger pot, it's a totally different system. The secret starts with the soil. Instead of dense, heavy dirt, you use a special mix of things like compost and peat moss. This stuff is lightweight, so it never gets packed down. It holds on to moisture perfectly without ever getting soggy, and it's absolutely packed with nutrients. And because you have all this room and amazing soil, you can plant smarter. Using a simple grid system, you can grow an incredible amount of food. For example, if you put up a little trellis, 1 square foot of pole beans can produce as much as 4 or 5 square feet of regular bush beans. You're literally multiplying your harvest by going vertical. But here's the real kicker. In a pot, you get one harvest and you're done for the season. With this crate method, as soon as you harvest something, you pop a new plant right into that same square. You can get 3, sometimes even 4 different harvests from a single spot in one season. It proves that it was never about the expensive pot. It was always about the system. Alright, so let's get our hands dirty and start building this system. The hunt for the perfect crate is honestly half the fun. It's like a treasure hunt for your garden. You can find amazing wooden crates almost anywhere if you know where to look. Think about old wine boxes or those vintage-looking soda crates. Flea markets, garage sales, and thrift stores are gold mines for this kind of stuff. And if you want them for free, which is even better, check out websites like Craigslist or FreeCycle. People are often just giving them away. You're literally turning someone else's junk into a food-producing machine. Now, before you grab the first crate you see, we need to talk about safety. This is the single most important part of this whole process, especially since you're growing food. You have to make sure the crate isn't made from pressure-treated wood. That's the wood that often has a greenish tint and little staple marks all over it. It's treated with chemicals to stop it from rotting, and those chemicals can absolutely leak into your soil and get into your vegetables. Just avoid it. It's not worth the risk. Once you've found a safe, untreated crate, the prep work is super simple. First, flip it over. If it has a solid bottom, you need to add drainage. That's it. Just drill a few good-sized holes so that excess water has a place to go. This one little step solves one of the biggest problems we talked about with store-bought pots. The final step is to line the inside. This does 2 things. It stops your soil from falling out through the slats, and it creates a small barrier between the wet soil and the wood, which helps the crate last a little longer. You don't need anything fancy. A piece of landscape fabric, or even some burlap works perfectly. Water can still drain through, but your soil stays put. If you end up using something like a plastic sheet, just be sure to poke plenty of holes in it for that all-important drainage. And that's it. That's the foundation. With a few of these prepped crates, you're ready to build a garden that will completely outperform anything you could buy at a big box store. Okay, now for the part that really changes the game. The crate is just the container. The real magic, the engine that powers this whole system, is what you put inside it. You can arrange your crates into any shape you want, but a simple 4x4 foot square is a great place to start. And what you fill it with is the single most important decision you'll make. Forget just digging up dirt from your yard. We're going to create the perfect soil from scratch. It's a recipe called Mel's Mix, and it was invented by a guy named Mel Bartholomew back in the 80s for his square foot gardening method. It's famous for a reason. It's super simple. 1/3 compost, 1/3 peat moss or coconut coir, and 1/3 coarse vermiculite. That's it. Equal parts of those three things. Each part does a critical job. The compost is the food. It's packed with all the nutrients your plants need. The peat moss or coir acts like a sponge, holding onto water so your plants don't dry out. And the vermiculite keeps the soil light and fluffy, giving the roots plenty of air and letting extra water drain away. The result is a soil mix that is absolutely perfect. It never gets compacted, it holds moisture perfectly, and here's the best part, it has almost no weeds. Because you're not using native soil, you're not importing a million weed seeds. You will spend a fraction of your time weeding. This amazing soil is what lets you plant everything so close together. In a single 4x4 bed, you can grow a shocking amount of food. You can get 3, sometimes even 4 different harvests out of the same little square in one season. For example, if you grow pole beans up a trellis in 1 square foot, you can get 4 or 5 times the harvest of bush beans that would normally take up way more space. This is the secret. It's not the container, it's the soil. This simple mix is what allows a few cheap wooden crates to outperform a traditional garden tenfold. This is the simple, genius idea that makes the whole system work. You take your 4x4 foot bed and you divide it into 16 individual squares, each one a foot by a foot. You can use thin strips of wood, or even just string, to mark it out. Each square becomes its own little mini garden. Forget planting in long, wasteful rows like in a traditional garden. With the grid, you use every single inch of that incredible soil you just made. This grid also takes all the guesswork out of planting. There's a simple recipe for every square. Want to grow carrots or radishes? You can plant 16 of them, perfectly spaced, in a single square foot. How about lettuce? You can fit 4 heads in 1 square. Bigger plants like a single tomato or a pepper, they get 1 whole square all to themselves. It's that simple.